Rolling.
Hey, what's up guys? It's Michael from StoryBook Wedding Photography. We're here in downtown Denver at PHOTOSPACE, the premier photography studio in Colorado and a great source for rental equipment for photographers and videographers. Today we'll be talking about the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema Camera. Roll that beautiful beam footage. Rather than do a fancy pixel peeping review with tons of footage and charts and all that, I'm actually just going to talk about the practical aspects of this little wonder. 10 pros and 10 cons of the camera, and what you can really expect if you decide to rent or purchase one for your next production. Alright, let's start with the pros. Number 1, spectacular video quality. The video quality on this thing is absolutely stunning. I mean, it's got 13 stops of dynamic range, excellent sharpness and detail, and it's actually really enjoying to work with in post. Number 2, RAW and ProRes options. If you're doing a series production or integrating with another pro cinema camera, RAW shooting is available. Otherwise, ProRes offers a really excellent codec with a lot of latitude that's easy to work with. Number 3, thermal cooled sensor. This is a really cool feature that helps regulate the temperature of the sensor. So even if you shoot for an extended period of time, the image stays consistent and doesn't introduce any extra noise or grain. A lot of DSLRs suffer from increased noise at higher operating temperatures, and this helps to address that, which is really neat. This is a thermal cooled sensor. Number 4, 2 dynamic range options. While shooting in ProRes, you can choose from film or video setting. Film gives you that really flat, desaturated profile that requires some work in post, and the video mode looks just about ready to go straight out of the camera. Raw recording is set default to film, as it should be, because you'll definitely want to be working with that in post-production. Number 5, time-lapse mode. This function is really easy to use with several common settings and integrates seamlessly with all your footage. It records in film or video dynamic range, so it just blends perfectly and can be graded along with your other footage. Be sure and watch your battery levels though if you're leaving the camera on for a long time. Number 6, zebra and focus peaking. Zebra striping offers a really great way to make sure your exposure is in check, and it actually works really well on this camera. The focus peaking is great if you're using manual lenses or just to check and make sure your scene is focused the way that you want it. It can be turned on by double tapping the focus button. And you can also double tap the OK button to zoom in and triple check the focus. Number 7, the on-screen display. We're not talking about the actual screen here, but rather what's displayed while you're recording. It's got a really clean and clear setup with all the important info at the bottom and a totally unobstructed view of what you're actually filming. Number 8, active lens mount. The active mount works really well communicating with your micro four thirds lenses for iris adjustment, autofocus, and image stabilization if you have it on your lens. There are dozens of micro four thirds lenses available, as well as adapters for just about any lens you can think of. Number 9, this thing is tiny. It's not really a light camera. It actually has a bit of heft to it, but it has an excellent balance, and it's small enough to take anywhere if you just want to get some simple footage without a huge rig. The 14mm 2.5 by Panasonic is a really great lens to carry around if you want to keep the package small and light. But be prepared to bring along a monopod or a small tripod, or your footage will be pretty darn shaky. And number 10, the price. Yep, although this camera does require some extra parts and accessories to really make it fully functional, the fact that you can get this kind of quality out of the sensor for just around $1,000 is totally amazing. Let's talk about some of the cons of the Blackmagic.
Rolling.
And things you might want to think twice about if you're considering purchasing or renting this camera. On to the cons. Number 1, my battery is dead. My battery is dead? Expect about 30 to 60 minutes max of recording time per battery, depending on settings and the screen brightness. The good news, batteries are pretty cheap and really easy to find since they are a standard Nikon battery. And you can actually use plug-in power with a supplied adapter if you're in a studio setting. There are also some third-party adapters to run the camera off Canon batteries, Anton Bauer setup, etc. A really good tip to keep in mind is to power the camera off anytime you're not actually shooting. It actually has a really fast startup time, so this is really no big deal. Start fast up time. Keep in mind too, it does not come with an external charger, so you must charge the batteries in camera. Number 2, is this thing on? Unfortunately, this may be one of the biggest downfalls of the Blackmagic. The screen is nearly impossible to see in daylight, and really eats up batteries big time if you have to boost the brightness. Wear polarized sunglasses? Forget about it. You'll have to tilt your head sideways in order to see the camera. Number 3, dude, where's my bokeh? Did I say that right? Well, who cares? With this small of a sensor, it can be really difficult to achieve a shallow depth of field. And because this camera always wants to expose for the brightest part of the scene, be sure to have a good variable neutral density filter on hand, so not every single shot outside is stuck at f/22. The benefit of this is that it's much easier to ensure everything in your scene is in focus with that small of a sensor. Number 4, no formatting, WTF. The inability to format the card in camera or even just delete clips is totally crazy. So if you're doing a documentary work or in a remote location, make sure you have plenty of spare cards or bring your laptop along. If you want to crunch some numbers, you'll get just about 1 minute of record time for every 2 gigabytes if you're shooting in ProRes, and even less in RAW. And sadly enough, the time remaining on the card is not displayed on screen. This makes the Blackmagic Pocket maybe not the most ideal camera for weddings and events, as you may miss a crucial moment if the card unexpectedly runs out. Number 5, wacky menu navigation. Since there are very few buttons and dials on the camera, which is actually kind of nice, keeping it small and simple, you really have to dive into the menu to change simple settings like ISO, shutter angle, white balance, etc. Is this a big deal? Maybe not. It really only takes a few seconds anyway. Number 6, no custom white balance. The Blackmagic Pocket only has a few of the most common coloring settings. No option to set custom white balance, and it does not have auto white balance. Luckily, it is pretty accurate and shouldn't cause too many problems in post. Number 7, preamps. What preamps? Audio recording on this little beast is not the best. Even boosting the input to 100% provides a pretty dismal audio quality. You'll definitely need to add either an external preamp like a Juice Link, or better yet, plan on recording your audio separately with a Zoom H4n, H6, or something similar. There is no on-screen level display for monitoring your audio. This may be addressed in firmware, but again, it might not matter because you should just plan on recording your audio separately anyway. Number 8, the insane crop factor effect. If you're going to go out and shoot bears in the wild, this is perfect. Otherwise, the 2.9 crop factor may require you to rethink your lens selection. The Panasonic 12-35 2.8 is a really excellent all-around lens, giving you an equivalent 36-105 range with great image stabilization. Number 9, histogram is history. Unfortunately, there is no built-in light meter or histogram display. The good news is the auto iris is usually pretty accurate, and the zebra striping helps determine if you're blowing out the highlights, so that's what you're going to be looking at most of the time anyway. And number 10, it's an investment. This camera is not quite ready to go right out of the box for anything but casual shooting, or to use as a simple B camera. But it's not really for casual shooting anyway. There are a lot of other smaller cameras at a lower price point that might be better for this. This camera is a powerful professional tool, and if you really want to make this your primary camera, you most certainly can. But you'll need to be prepared to invest in a few things. Lenses, rig or a cage, viewfinder or external HD monitor, audio recorder, microphones, cables, lots of SD cards, lots of batteries, neutral density filters, and more. But once you do that, you'll have a really great camera that will produce some excellent results and might just put your DSLR footage to shame. All the gear you see today is available for rent at PHOTOSPACEdenver.com. And be sure to check back as we'll be constantly adding new gear to the Blackmagic arsenal to expand its capabilities and address some of these issues we talked about today. Thanks guys, keep shooting and have fun. Why do I keep saying regularly? I don't know. Well, that doesn't make any sense.